It's 8/8, and it is officially Patrick Kane Day in the city of Chicago. Today on CHGO Blackhawks, we're going to look back at our 8 favorite Patrick Kane memories from his time in Chicago. Join us next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Friday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Mario Tirabassi. Sean Anderson is running the show for us today, and that's it. Nobody else is here.
We've locked the doors.
I've decided to do the show pantsless because no one's here to stop me.
No, I didn't stop you. There it is. Yeah.
All right, I do have pants on.
Oh, hey.
Sorry.
Look out.
Yeah.
We're done.
I mean, enough super chats, and I'll get to the I'll get to the boxer briefs.
For those
It's
not
fine.
watching and only listening, we're playing up the bit. Jay is pantsless.
It does. I do
You'll have
appear
to go to
pantsless,
YouTube
but I
to
am
see
indeed just
truth.
wearing navy blue shorts. That's all. Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate it. Hit that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast, we love you. Follow, subscribe, rate, review, all that great stuff. It is August 8th. Today is Patrick Kane Day in the city of Chicago, made official by the City of Chicago Council. They do these sort of things on days when things have happened and people are around. So we have it. Patrick Kane's in town, and it is Patrick Kane Day. So with that in mind, we're going to go through some of the great moments in Patrick Kane's time with the Hawks and just some of our favorite highlights, some of our favorite goals here. And I think that we should take a minute because I do believe there is a perception that this show has soured on Patrick Kane in some way, shape, or form. What we have soured on, for the record, is the endless conversation about him having to come back and when it's going to happen and should it happen and will it happen, and the answer is probably not, maybe, we'll see. But, I think that's kind of what wears on us more than the actual human being, Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
Who neither of us would be here without, let's be honest.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I think, we this summer were even saying, like, okay, objectively, it kind of would make sense if he did come back now at this point because, the team is starting to try and go into another different direction, whereas he didn't really have time for the direction that they have gone over the last 2.5 seasons. So,
right.
Anyways, that's
neither here nor there.
But yeah, I mean, of course, it is still what you said. Like, we wouldn't be in the positions we're in. A lot of Hawks fans wouldn't be where they are. A lot of hockey players wouldn't. Well, some of them might, but some of them wouldn't have the love for the game that they have, or the aspirations, or the fandom that they do, whatever, without the player that Patrick Kane was in his time in Chicago and continues to be. Yes, Sean.
Before we get into it,
wait, Sean's in the I want to speak formation. He's looking at me like this.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
It caught my eye. I was like, whoa.
Yes, Sean.
I have a lot of those feelings as well. 2015 was iffy, just because there was a lot of feelings about Kane. But then when I did rewatch the 2010, I didn't rewatch it. When you sent the photo of just the 2010 game-winning goal, spoiler alert, that's a top 8 moment. What? Like, I remember where I was in that moment, and I started welling up. And I'm like, that was 15 years ago. Put it away.
Where were you?
Yeah.
I was at home watching it with my mom. And I remember I used to watch on this armchair that was right in front of the TV. I wonder why I have a -4 glasses. 'Cause I sit right in front of the TV. Just watching it go in, but also not go in. I haven't seen Kane celebrate. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I was at, we just start there. I mean, that is probably the signature moment in terms of when it happened in his career and obviously the gravity of the moment. The Hawks get their first Stanley Cup since 1961 with that 2010 game winner. I was at the Score Studios getting ready to do a post-game show with Matt Abatacola. I also had the flu It was the Jay Zawaski flu game. I was as sick as I've ever been, but I rallied for the post game show. But we were supposed to go on the air immediately when the game ended, and we looked at each other saying, should we be on the air right now, or do we need to wait? We kind of waited. And then when we saw Jonathan Toews celebrate, that was all the verification we needed, because we knew he was going to be as conservative as anybody in celebrating, being sure not to celebrate prematurely, and the Hawks won the cup. So that is the first, and I think probably if you have to narrow it down to one, just for all it entailed, that's the one.
Yeah, as far as like a legacy-defining moment, that's absolutely it. And especially that was the beginning of the early stages of that run. Really, I'd say the beginning of that era and that run, where it like really was like kind of like a rival time moment, was getting, I think, the Winter Classic in 2009 against the Red Wings. Then they go on that playoff run the year before, but then flag in the ground moment is that run capped off by Kane getting that winner. And he, at that time he was the face of the team. I think Jonathan Toews obviously was the captain, but Patrick Kane was the guy on that team. One of the most popular young rising stars in the league at that moment. Getting all the advertisements. The really awkward commercial with him and Jonathan Toews for the flip out
narrated
keyboard
by Bruce Wolfe.
Yeah, it was a different time. On the cover of EA 2010, NHL Hockey 2010, and if I'm remembering correctly, he is the last person to be on the cover to not be cursed, because he was on the cover of the 10 game, and then they won the cup that year. And I don't think any other cover athlete has won a cup in the year that they've been on it. Yeah.
Well, then bet against the Panthers and Senators and Blues this year, because all the Kachucks are on the cover.
I don't think Keith Kachuk's winning the cup this year.
I don't think so. So bet against all those teams.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he was the guy. Everyone choose their mouth guard. It's just that is the legacy defining moment. And I was watching it with my family at home, and my dad, he was running around the house like Kane was on the ice, and I was like the rest of the team. I was like, wait, what? Watching the replays and trying to make sure that the goal had actually happened. And then when you see the replay, I started running around the house too. It's just one of those fandom moments that just kind of get burned into your brain. As you go through life in sports, and that moment was brought by that 2010 team, and especially Patrick Kane scoring the winner. So it's again, you go back and you think about the impact that all those guys had, on those cup teams, but especially on the city of Chicago. Like you could argue he's a Mount Rushmore type of athlete in this city.
That is a hell of a Mount Rushmore. That's a man. Is the CHGO Sports show still on? That's still a thing? Just it's sports in general.
I mean, we did last one we did was the what if.
Yeah.
So
we'll do Chicago Mount Rushmore would be a 9-hour debate show.
I think there's a big thing with the generational change. If you ask a kid who's 25, a person who's 25, they're not kids, they're adults. But if you ask someone who's 25, like, okay, who's your Mount Rushmore of Chicago sports? They probably
Patrick
say
Kane,
Derrick Rose, Patrick
Anthony
Kane,
Rizzo.
They might say like Urlacher or something like that. Like, it's completely, you probably still put Jordan on there because he's a transcendent athlete. You say Walter Payton because people understand the history. Yeah. But I think there's a lot to be said for like the generation behind you and me of like what Chicago athletes have meant the most in their time of being fans. And I think Patrick Kane for sure is in that conversation.
3 championships is a lot.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
If we are having this conversation, I think even though I'm 27, a little off from the 25-year-old you were talking about.
I'm just going 10 years behind me. Yeah.
Jordan, Peyton for sure, I just think are just unquestioned. Mm-hmm. I would put Toews over Kane. I don't know if that's just because he was the captain, but even looking, I thought it was just hilarious. Like, Bedard's not even 20, and he has an A on his jersey. It took Kane 12 years. Did he ever? He got it like kind of on a default technicality, just because everyone else left.
Sure.
I don't know. I never found him as like the leader. He was always like the star, but I didn't see him as like the guy. I feel like Taves would be on the Mount Rushmore.
It comes down to
mine would have Taves.
Yeah, it comes down to people's preference for what guy that they really liked from that group. Duncan Keith was my guy the whole way through, but you could I love Jonathan Toews, I love Patrick Kane, Seabrook, all those guys from that time. But I mean, think about people like Bedard, and I know Jack Hughes has talked about it. Celebrini, all these guys have mentioned like Patrick Kane as someone that they grew up watching and idolizing and wanting to play like them, and it's the impact on not only the city but the sport and the culture of the sport that he had was it's unquestionable.
All right, so we got the cup winner.
That was one moment.
One we can do too. Like we have a special slot for the shootout goals.
Most believe is it him or Toews that's most shootout goals in career?
I think it's him.
Kane. Yeah.
The one I think of the most, 2011, he's got a shootout attempt for the win against the Wild, and he starts full speed, then slows down in front of Nicholas Backstrom and just stick handles over and over and over and over and over again until Backstrom just says, "You know what? I'm good.
He just goes.
Just go ahead and put it behind me." And that was the end. And there was a lot of discussion. I remember after that happened, there was some conversation about like, should that be legal? Should players be allowed to slow down that slowly? Like that. And I think they did tweak
They've changed it.
You can't move the puck behind you.
The puck has to continuously
remain
move forward.
In motion.
Yeah.
Because
there was a lot of things of like guys like going right up and then stopping and like trying to do backhands and stuff. But that is just pure hands at that point. That's not really a manipulation of the rules of like how the puck is traveling. He just has that kind of skill to. I think, who was it? Nicholas Backstrom, the goalie?
Yeah.
I think his jock is still in the XL Energy Center rafters.
Most shootout goals, Kane is number 1 with 53. Taves is second with 52.
Yeah.
They're the only with 50. And now
and the vaunted Franz Nielsen is third.
and hey, Taves can tie him this year.
He could. That's true. That is true.
TJ Oshie, number 4. Not a surprise.
But even with that, too, he reinvented shootouts in a way, because it was really you'd skate up and you'd either make a sharp move to the right or a sharp move to the left. You'd maybe try to go 5-hole if the guy was still standing up, but you really never saw someone take their time and wait it out.
Well, I think what makes it special too is you have to think about the anxiety on the shooter too of, if I score here I win. It's not they've got a million thoughts going through their head too, so to be able to execute, I know it's slow, but still, like, under pressure, game on the line, you're able to manipulate and stick handle like that and wait out the goalie. It takes a special player with a special mindset and a special kind of confidence to pull something like that off. We've seen guys historically have shootout attempts where they just fumble the puck completely. They don't even get a shot off because they took their eye off it for a second, or they're overthinking.
Even Brad, I think one that comes to mind is Brad Marchand, when I think it was a number of years ago, he missed the puck.
Yeah.
He just skated right past it. It's a moment where literally every eye in the building is on you, and the goalie as well. But, for Patrick Kane, and in the chat, Jay Strassner points it out, his first ever shootout goal was against Dominik Hasek.
Yeah.
Talk about a moment where you're like, welcome to the NHL.
Especially a Sabres fan.
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I just think, it's one of those things, like, you put him in the shootout, he always was, I think Toews always led off, but Kane was the second guy, because it was just like, if you got Toews, go out there, put you ahead, you felt like you had a better than not chance of closing the game out there.
Yeah.
With Kane behind him.
All right, well, let's hit the break zone before we get to the remaining 6 on our list. We've got some other stuff, fun stuff teed up for later in the show as well, so stick around. Make sure you hit that like button for us and hit the sub. We'll be back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. What is Sunnyside? Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Going into a dispensary for the first time can be intimidating. You're not sure what you need. You don't want to look like a noob. You want to make sure you're getting exactly what you want. That's why Sunnyside's expert guidance will help you find exactly what you want. The exact experience you are seeking, whether it's sleep, whether it's a journey to another dimension, whatever you're looking for, they'll help you get it at Sunnyside. We know you're going to love Cresco and FloraCal for their incredible quality and consistent products, and my two favorite brands, the Good News and the Mindy's. Visit Sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Use the code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders. And for existing users, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
Whatever event you're trying to get to this summer in Chicago, check out our friends at Game Time. They make getting tickets easier and faster, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. They have the killer last-minute deals, the view from your seat feature, and the lowest price guarantee. If you've never been to an arena or a concert venue or a theater or anything like that before, check out Game Time. They can give you a full panoramic view from the seat that you're looking at, so you know exactly what you're going to see when you go to that event. And they have the lowest price guarantee. If you happen to find the same ticket for the same seat on another site, you can bring it to Game Time, and they will credit you 110% of the difference. That's how much they care that you're getting the best deal through them. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Welcome back to CHGO Blackhawks. We're going through 8 of our favorite moments of Patrick Kane's career. If you've got a thought, let us know in the chat, and we'll share it on the show. We've already done the 2010 Cup winner. We've already highlighted one specific shootout goal, but I think you could go through the 50-plus he scored in his career. They're all pretty great.
Highlight reel career of shootout goal winners. Yeah, I love that we've opened up the discussion in the chat of best Chicago athletes, and we've gone to Frank Thomas and Ernie Banks and Dick Butkus and all of that. It's great.
It was like the Bulls representative is easy. The Bears representative is easy. The Hawks, someone threw out Hull, but I think it's either Kane or Taze. I think you and I settled on Taze. I don't know where you
could
stand.
say. You could say Stan Mikita.
Stan Mikita was kind of the Ernie Banks of the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
No Cups though.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I don't know hockey.
Right.
And then finally, it's just what baseball team are you a fan of? Whether it's Ryan, I think Michael said Rhino.
Yeah.
I threw out Frank. Someone could obviously say Mr. Cub and Ernie, but it seems like the 4 teams are definitely easily representative. I guess.
I think so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the Hawks have the most. I think because of the recency of the championships and the fact that so many guys were contributors to those championships, makes it a tougher call. Like who was the most important?
Yeah.
And I still think that if they don't have Duncan Keith, they maybe don't win a single cup. However, for Mount Rushmore purposes, I'm probably going Taves and Kane because I think profile matters on those sort of conversations too, which is why maybe you say Ryan Sandberg. Like for me, Ryan Sandberg was my Mr. Cub. Mm-hmm. That was the guy who made me a Cub fan and was great. And even though he never won a championship here, I don't know if anyone represents being a Cub more than he does, aside from Ernie Banks, who I never saw play.
Right.
So it's, that's why it's objective.
Yeah, I mean,
subjective.
Duncan Keith could have been a huge star in Chicago if he was more of a person who liked being in the spotlight more. Yeah. That just wasn't his personality.
Right.
So you saw more of those opportunities given to guys like Jonathan Taze and Patrick Kane and Patrick Sharp and those guys were more out in the advertisements, in the TV commercials and stuff. But all those guys had the great personalities that could have been showcased. It's just a different culture in hockey.
All right, next one I think of, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, Mario, aside from the Cup winner, is 2013 double overtime against the Kings, the heartbreaker goal. Patrick Kane wins it, a perfect pass from Jonathan Taves, right on the tape for a one-timer. Hawks advance to the Western Conference Final. They win the Stanley Cup over the Bruins. But just the connection of Kane and Taves, the celebration, it's at home. It sends them to the conference final, or to the cup final, rather. Just, it checks so many boxes, that goal. And it's
the
one
defending cup champion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just one that you'll never forget.
Well, and the Kings knocked him out of the Western Conference final the year before, too, right?
Next year.
Next year.
The next year in 2014. Yep. That was that 12, 13, 14 kind of back and forth that the Hawks and Kings had of trading off cups and having, just really good playoff series. And it's funny, like, you think about, like, just a side comment. You think about the Kings and the Hawks and that little run that they had, and you don't think of it as, like a head-butting rivalry, like anything like that. Like with the Canucks, it never really led to getting to the cup final or anything like that, or trading off cups with the Canucks. But there was just more hatred with the Canucks. But with the Kings, it was just like these two teams are identically built. They're just so good, and it was more of a like these are just the best teams. There's almost nothing of aside from Duncan Keith two-handing Jeff Carter in the face. There really wasn't any moments where you're like, get your blood boiling. It was just, that was some of the best hockey that those teams played.
That Keith was also retaliating, too, on that.
Yeah, because he really slashed his hand.
Right,
yeah.
So I think, that was that Kings...
Almost literally, eye for an eye when he hit Carter in the face.
Well, you don't call... I don't think people call that a rivalry with the Kings, despite the intensity of the matchup, the evenness of it, because it was just a mutual respect of, these are the two best teams in the West, probably the two best teams in the NHL at the time. Mm-hmm. And there was, of course, you have moments when you have a series like that, but it was so tight all the time that you didn't have time for shenanigans. You didn't have time for after the whistle crap because every power play, every penalty kill was amplified. Yeah. Whereas Vancouver, as soon as things started going south for them, which was often against the Blackhawks, it would become hair pulling and biting and after whistle stuff and cheap shots and all that crap. You also had the Willie Mitchell hit on Jonathan Taves early in that whole thing, so there was some history already built in. But I think it's just a matter of, look, the Hawks knew, the Kings were right there with them, and the Kings knew the same, and every second of that series counted. I mean, we saw it, 2014, overtime goes off Nick Leddy's butt into net. Whoever scored the goal in that game was winning the Stanley Cup. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Am I wrong to think Canucks, Nashville, and even Arizona were more of rivals in that 5-year stretch? Because Arizona, I think of the Rafi Torres hit.
Yeah,
but that was Arizona. That was a one-off series. Yeah. And 5 of those 6 games went to overtime. Like, it really was a toss-up series. It was annoying as hell. That was just like, really? We're the Blackhawks and you're losing to the Coyotes. You're losing to Mike Smith. Mike Smith had like a .960 save percentage in that series. Like, it was just ridiculous.
What's Sprout? I think Sprout's on it. The Canucks primarily, and then the Ducks. Because there's a lot of
even Ducks was only a one-off in that run of 10 through 15. Ducks are really, that was only a one-off where they met each other. At least Kings and Blackhawks met twice in back-to-back years. They traded off cups.
I just think that series had so much smoke, though.
Series was great. Yeah. I know it's. I think of the Blues was a good back and forth. Blues got him in 2016, but Hawks got him in 15. The Wild, it's like, there's the rivalry, but the Wild never did anything to the Hawks.
Right.
The Blackhawks beat them
very much a pat them on the head. Yeah, that's adorable. We're gonna beat you in 6.
Yeah, but I think the Canucks, Blues were pretty good series that they had, and it's just I love that we had that much playoff hockey to talk about, and it makes me really really want to get back to it.
Yeah.
Anyways, the heartbreaker game. Again, talk about like legacy defining moments. He scores that goal. It is a hat trick to win. Yeah. Double overtime. You go to the Stanley Cup final, and then the celebration is just like immortalized. How many times do you see people, emulating that? Whether it's little kids or I think he did it again it might have been a regular season game the next year. You can do it in the NHL video game. Yeah. Like, it's just like it's one of those moments that's just like. Again, like the highlight reel, the legacy moments. He just had so many of them as a Blackhawk. And I know it's just like sounds like we're talking about him as if he's retired. Like, it's just this is Patrick Kane Day in the city, and his moments as a Blackhawk, like you just can't deny it.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to 2010, and let's talk about Nashville Game 5. A lot of people remember this as a Marian Hossa moment, and rightfully so. Scored the game winner in overtime.
Biggest moment.
But without the shorthanded goal by Patrick Kane with 16 seconds to go in the third period, Marian Hossa never scores that overtime winner. Just a huge goal, a momentum changer for the team, because that game, it was bad. And they were about to head back to Nashville trailing 3-2, and who knows if they lose that series, what happens beyond 2010. There could be, because then you don't win a cup in 11, you don't win a cup in 12, so maybe there's some big changes made, and a lot of these guys that won multiple cups here are no longer around.
Mm-hmm. We did a whole show about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain this might be the only time Patrick Kane ever killed a penalty in his entire career. And I know it's his only shorthanded goal. But yeah, I mean, it's that the ability to, come up big in those moments, whether it was, shootout, overtime, when the team needed him most, you always, go back and look at like the guys that were on the ice in the important moments. He was always that guy. So, you get in a desperation time. Marian Hossa, of all people, is in the penalty box for 5 minutes. You pull the goalie.
Yeah.
You get Patrick Kane out on what is a penalty kill, and he scores like just insane. The butterfly effect, that kind of move and moment could have had on what the Hawks dynasty ended up becoming.
And at least thinking back, just looking at the box scores, I do remember it felt like the Hawks goalies, I think it was Niemi at that point, just needed to be perfect because it was 4-1, then 2-0 they win the second game, and then 4-1 again, and then game 4, 3-0 again. Like the only 2 wins the Hawks have are shutouts.
Yeah.
So just to kind of break through that and get that win before going to Nashville, crazy.
The Predators just played that whole series. They just made it a slog. They did a really good job of taking away, what made the Hawks good, but they had just so much talent that you got Patrick Kane shorthanded with 14 seconds left. And I say this all the time: is like those teams didn't lose; they just ran out of time. And that Nashville game's a good example because just when you think you've got them beat and you think you've got the series by the nuts, Patrick Kane strikes, Marian Hossa strikes, and that's the end of it. So. Yeah, it's just another outstanding moment in an outstanding career and an outstanding run for the team. Let's do another overtime moment. 2014, Patrick Kane sends the Hawks to the Western Conference Final. We talked about against the Kings, beating the Wild in overtime. Kind of a strange goal where it looks like it goes in, then it kind of deflects in. It's kind of another delayed celebration.
Yeah, I always love this goal because if you go back and if you go on YouTube and you watch, highlights of the Blackhawks playoff runs or, Patrick Kane's biggest goals or whatever it is, this one always pops up on there. And there's a name that I'm like always like, oh yeah, Peter Regan. Remember him?
Number 12.
He knocks the puck loose in front of the Wild net to set up this goal, and Kane just kind of walks in, loose puck, backhand roofs it. And yeah, it's like one of those things where you're just like, did it go in? Did it? Because you hear the noise of the bar getting hit, but it's actually the bar behind the net, not the crossbar. But he knew it was in, just like in 2010. Like he's the first one down the ice celebrating, and again, just eliminating the Wild from the playoffs.
A tale as old as time.
Yeah, a tradition like any other.
That's right. All right, can we hit the break zone here about a minute early here, Sean, so we can finish up the others? I don't want to cut one short here because we have a minute to go before the break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Please hit that like button for us if you haven't already, and be sure to subscribe to our page as well. We'll talk to you in 120 seconds exactly. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. The NFL started preseason last night, and people were placing their wagers. Not for me. I'll wait for the regular season,
Yeah,
but
not
when the
just
regular season gets here, I'm going to be all over the Circus Sports Illinois app. It is sports betting the way it should be. Circus Sports Illinois, they've got high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circus Sports has it. We love playing the props during Hawks games and Bears games, and baseball playoffs will be here soonish. So make sure you're ready to go with the Circus Sports Illinois app. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, you should know the number by now. It is 1-800-GAMBLER.
And it's extremely hot out. It's going to continue to be extremely hot out because summer doesn't end in September. You need to make sure that your air conditioner is up to par. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They're your friends. They've been serving the Chicagoland community for over 50 years, and they will help you get your AC conditioning checked out with installations, maintenance, and repair. The best thing about Four Seasons is that when your AC unit eventually does break down on a night, a weekend, or a holiday, they won't charge extra to come out there and fix it for you during those times. They just want to make sure that you're nice and calm and cool and collected. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all of their special offers and money-saving coupons. Again, that's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Make sure to stay cool through the summer.
All right, we are back with more Patrick Kane moments. March 16th, 2013. Patrick Kane's done this many, many times, the Spinorama. But this particular Spinorama against the Dallas Stars was almost a carbon copy of the Dennis Savard Spinorama. Backhander makes it 8-1 Hawks in that game
Just
in 2013.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, the Dallas Stars have come a long way since then. But that was a hell of a goal. And just something that made Dennis Savard special was like he was doing stuff like that when no one was really doing it, but it was pretty rare. Like you'd see guys Spinorama to elude a checker or to create space for themselves, but to see Kane do the entire Savard like spin and in one movement shoot and score,
shoot, yeah.
That was rare.
From the circle.
Yeah, that's from a backhand from that distance is pretty spectacular, and then you throw the spin on top of it. I mean, again, it just kind of goes back to the skill, the hands, like just some of the most elite in his prime in the NHL and maybe in the league history, as far as you think about like just the ability to handle the puck and skate through defenders and find ways to control it, like one of the best to ever do it. And you see the Spinorama shot goal. We've seen the Spinorama pass that leads to an assist. Like it wasn't just kind of like a one and done kind of thing. Like that was a legit weapon in his arsenal to be able to manipulate a defender, go inside to outside, but have the absolute nasty backhand that he did to be able to pull that off is just incredible. It's one of those things, and someone put it in the chat. It was just like Patrick Kane was one of those people as a Blackhawk that gets you out of your seat at least once a game with the skill that he had. Yeah, Kevin had that in there.
Kane didn't. I believe Patrick Kane said that when he was drafted. Like, I'm going to score some highlight reel goals. I'm going to be an exciting player. I remember him saying that, and there was probably not a ton of news coverage of it because it was before the Hawks were really relevant. But he said something along the lines of, I'm going to have some great celebrations. I'm going to have some, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was right after the Hawks drafted him. He said that. And he's right. This goal, the Spinorama goal against Dallas, is another example of his ability to just slow things down more than anyone, almost like a Neo in the Matrix type ability to, I can play this game with precision at a speed that most people can't.
Yeah.
And I always think back to that video he did where he was just stick handling through like 50 pucks just laid out on the ice and just didn't miss a beat, never fumbled the puck once, and then Brandon Bullock did his own version, which I enjoyed.
That was
but
good.
he just had that ability where the hands were so good, the vision was so good, that ability to play at play a fast-paced game at a slower mental pace. Nothing was impossible for Patrick Kane, and that spinorama was just another example of that. Awesome goal.
Yeah.
It's not. Did it mean anything in the long term? No, it was just a regular season goal.
It's a highlight reel thing, though. That as you talk about like legacy moments, like that's one of those things. Like it's just it gets etched into that lore and that story of his time as a Blackhawk. It's the hands, it's the spin, it's the celebrations, it's the showmanship. It's all part of it.
All right. Speaking of regular season goals, November 14th, 2016, Hawks are playing Montreal. Patrick Kane skates between Jeff Petrie and Max Pacioretty, falling down, shoots a puck over the shoulder of
Carey Price?
Nope. Al Montoya.
I had like a 1 in 75 chance of being right because that's how many games Carey Price would play a year.
Just the fact that he
just insane
dangles through two pretty good players, and is knocked down by Pacioretty, and is still able to shoot the puck while both feet are in the air. Just an unbelievable goal. One of many.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's a testament to, again, just that skill level to, and you look at like how elite NHL players train and what they do to kind of what they have to do to be able to kind of have body control and balance and all that stuff. Not only for like skating, but be able to take hits. And Patrick Kane was never really a guy to get hit a lot, get knocked down a lot.
No,
that's why when he got hit and broke his collarbone in the at the end of the 2015 season before the playoffs, it was so jarring because you're just like, he never gets hit like that.
Right.
He's just so able, just has an ability to avoid it. So when he's got contact and he's getting knocked down, and to still be able to get off a shot, not only get off a shot but score, like it's insane the amount of skill that he's able to have.
I want to go back and watch that again. I wonder if that was a delayed penalty, because it's pretty rare for him to just fall down.
Was it a trip? I don't remember.
I don't know, because maybe Petrie's stick got in there, or I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to show highlights here on CHGO Sports, but let's watch it and we'll see here.
Sean's going to play it for us.
I'm trying to see if I can see the ref put his arm up.
No, I don't think that's a penalty.
I don't think so. You know what? He scored too quickly for it to even be called.
Yeah, he's scoring as it's happening.
Before the ref's arm is up.
Oh, okay.
The ref's arm goes up and then he points at the net. So yes.
Oh yeah.
He was not actually knocked down. It was a penalty.
Called a penalty. Oh yeah, I see it there. Petrie
and Pacioretty
stick gets in his feet. Yeah. Also on the ice for that goal, Vinny Hinostroza.
Well, just wait until this next one. Patrick Kane's 1,000th point.
Oh yeah.
January 19th, 2020. He gets the secondary assist on a Brandon Saad goal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the primary assist on that goal went to?
I do, because I saw it written down, and I see him in the picture. Ryan Carpenter.
Yes.
Blackhawks legend. Sean, quickly, what are you doing? Are you signing up for the National Archive of
I'm trying to go back to a 2007 Tribune article. I'm trying to find the Kane quote that Jay had.
It's okay.
So
I'm going
look
to
behind
the
the
Internet
curtain.
Archive.
We can see Sean's screen in front of us and see what he's doing, and he is signing up for some random things here. He had to do the I'm not a robot test a couple times. It was very interesting. So that's the article after Kane was drafted?
More from September.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not directly
It's okay.
after he
I
was
paraphrased it
07.
accurately. You don't have to.
Who wrote it?
You don't have to crash the computer to do it.
It looks like Chris.
Chris Cook?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
Nice.
Anyway, 1,000 points, January 29th. Sorry, January 19th, 2020. A great play because he's behind the net. Gets it to Carpenter, who's got a good scoring chance, but Carpenter just takes a look to his left. He's like, well, there's Brandon Saad.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point it over there. Hawks beat the Jets 5-2.
And so that's 1,000 points. Like, again, just kind of continuing to etch his name into Blackhawks history and everything. And just the image of everybody jumps off the bench, they jump on the ice, they mob him for it. Game stops, they have the celebration for his 1000th point. Just really cool, just a really cool moment. And how many times do you see nowadays players that not only get 1,000 points in their career, and every few years there's someone who does. But to do it all with one team is just an extra kind of layer on top of it, of just that kind of that special moment. And especially in that season, that was, you're kind of getting back to that, like, okay, this, 2018-19 wasn't great, but they still had moments where you kind of believed, they might sneak into the playoffs, maybe something.
Yeah, they're like the current Red Wings.
Yeah, but then that 19-20 season is when you started to see it really start to kind of come down, and you still had that moment, and it was a special one. And later he had his 1,000th game played, 400th goal. Like, he's got all those milestones, and top 3 in most categories for Blackhawks history, whether it's games played, goals, points, assists, all that stuff. Like, it's just that moment that kind of like is like a more of a record book kind of moment, but still really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's, as we started the show with, it made sense to trade him. It made sense to let this young core kind of find its way without him. If you're a betting man, does Patrick Kane play another game for the Blackhawks before he retires? Not a one-day contract to retire.
Yeah.
Pull the jersey on and play.
If the Red Wings, let me say that again. When the Red Wings miss the playoffs again this year, and the Blackhawks young core shows that they can hang in the NHL, and that next step is going to be all these young guys are leading the team, then I think, then more than ever, I would say having him come back, play with the young guys, but not have to be Patrick Kane. I think if it doesn't make sense then for the organization to make that move, it never will. I don't think it's likely still, but I think at that juncture, if it came to that, it would make the most sense for that to happen.
Yeah,
he still has game left in him.
Of course.
Even after the hip surgery thing that he was dealing with at the end of his time here in Chicago, and then got that done before going to Detroit, or starting with Detroit. Like, there was still a lot of question marks of like, okay, not many players have had this surgery and have had long or successful careers after it. So there was a huge question mark, and he's obviously in the last few seasons playing in Detroit, you see like he still has it. He still has enough game left in him that he wants to keep playing. He's going to be a contributor. It would just it would make sense.
If you asked me a year ago, I would have said no.
Right.
Asking me today, I think there is I don't want to say a good chance, but I would say certainly better than 0% chance that happens.
Better than there used to be.
I just think I don't know. I'm not trying to read too much into what's been going on with him over the last couple of weeks in Chicago, and then there's no connection to what Kyle Davidson is doing with this roster. But it feels a little more possible now than it did 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. It doesn't feel like a 0% chance anymore.
Yeah, I mean, clearly from what he has said, the door is not closed on his end of things, it seems. Yeah. I think he is kind of at terms with it because of the direction the organization was going, and he didn't necessarily want to go in that direction or want to be around for that direction. So it came down to, okay, he's going to waive his no movement clause, take the trade to New York that he did, and then, the direction of where things went, he didn't end up coming back. But now, I mean, I think now if he if he wanted to come in and play and the organization wanted someone to come in and contribute, but also be someone that would, again, like be like that kind of like mentor to those younger players, but not have to be like, okay, you're going to play 19 minutes a night or whatever it is. He could be that kind of player.
Yeah, I mean,
and we've seen, we saw Dennis Savard late in his career come back and play. Eddie Olczyk late in his career come back and play. Like, they've done it with other guys before. And I know those are completely different times, different leadership groups in the organization, the front office and everything. But I think, like you said, like now more than a year or 2 years ago, it seems like things could happen that way than they have.
Yeah, would not totally surprise me, but what is he now, 36?
36.
36.
36, and where would he play? I mean, is he a top 2 winger still? Or
I mean,
is
he would have to be.
And
he's not going to kill penalties or play in your checking line.
No, he'd probably,
he's 36,
he'd
the
probably
biggest
be
thing
like, at that point, let's say hypothetically this is next year, right? And my caveat is the young players have progressed to entice him to come back, play with the young group as they're going up the standings in the league. You would likely say he's power play 2, because you think Bedard, Nazar, let's say Frondel, throw him in there. Those guys are in the mix for power play 1. Maybe a Bertuzzi for that net front role is a power play 1 guy, whatever. But your power play 2 could be like Kane and Tavo, and maybe it's Oliver Moore, or I think he'd be in that mix. He'd probably be second or third line, but again, like if you're saying like, okay, you're limiting him now. He doesn't have to be a top line guy, top power play guy. He can be your second unit power play. He can be in your middle 6, play 15, 16 minutes a night. Maybe you limit his 5-on-5 minutes to make him more effective on the power play if you want to do it that way. I think that would be a way to do it without saying you have to go and be MVP level Patrick Kane.
Well, the thing about him is because of the way he plays.
Did not expect this day to go into this conversation.
No, I know, but
where does Patrick Kane fit on the 26-27?
But it's a guy where he's 36, and how much does he have left? Like, it's the way he plays. It's not like he's going to lose a step and it's going to cost him, or he can't get in front of the net anymore because he just can't take the physical toll anymore. He has always played a game, as we talked about earlier in the show, where he doesn't get hit hard. He doesn't take a lot of contact. He is a perimeter player, and I think it was Billy in the chat who pointed out that Kane has this uncanny knack, unlike anybody, to find an open teammate and get the puck to him. That's a skill that doesn't go away with age, right? Like, you look at, and I'm not saying that Patrick Kane is Wayne Gretzky, but you look at the way Wayne Gretzky was able to hang on so long was because he played a similar style. He was not in front playing a Matthew Tkachuk style of game. He was on the outside, knew where to find space, knew where to find the soft areas. Wayne Gretzky played till he was 38. His last year, when he was cooked, as the kids say, 63 points. The year before, at 37 years old, Wayne Gretzky had 90 points. At 36, he had 97.
Yeah.
Like, those guys that play that style can hang on longer. So I think the idea of Patrick Kane playing till he's 38, 39, maybe even 40, if the hip holds out, I don't think that's out of the question for him.
This guy's much bigger and still playing. But Jágr, I think Jágr is similar. Like, he was always to the outside. He was always very, very slow. It was always about making that crisp pass, right? Like Jágr, even especially after he came back when he was with Boston.
His later years.
He wasn't a monster or a dynamite offensively, but he just kept the puck moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you talk about guys who they fall off the age cliff in their careers, I think most of the time it's guys who make their bank off of goal scoring or being the fastest guy out there. And because your goal scoring hands will diminish as you get older, but your mind for the game, the way you see it, and your ability to distribute within it, that that can keep you around for a long time. And I think with Gretzky, I mean, you talk about, his numbers, his stats were huge, but his goal scoring as he got older, that was what was kind of gone.
Yeah.
He wasn't the 40 goal guy, consistently 50 goal guy,
Right.
anything like that. It was a lot of, playmaking and assists and setups. And now that could be also attributed to the fact that he would usually draw 2 or 3 defenders to him and be able to distribute to get to an open player. But, his final season, he had 7 goals? Something like that? 8 goals?
Gretzky?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Something like that.
His final season, 9 goals, 53
9,
assists.
Yeah. So those kind of skills will diminish. But Patrick Kane, outside of really he had 2 40-goal seasons, right? He had 41 in his MVP year, I think, and then I think he had 46 in that 18-19 season, right?
44 in 18-19 and 46 in 15-16. That was his
MVP year.
led the league with 106 points. His career high in points was that 18-19 season, 110 points, 44 and 66.
As was Alex DeBrincat's and Jonathan Taze's as well, and they missed the playoffs.
By the way, Jaromir Jagr,
Still playing.
in his final full season at the age of 44 with the Florida Panthers, 46 points in 82 games. The year before,
Not bad.
at age 43, 66 points in 79 games, finished 7th in Hart Trophy voting at the age of 43.
Was that the
Was that
shortened
Devils
season?
or Panthers?
No, a 79-game season. That was with the Panthers.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the wrong year.
He finished his career in Calgary with 22 games, 7 points in 22 games with Calgary
Yeah.
in 2017-18.
And he's still playing. He just had an assist in Czechia this weekend or this week.
I wonder how he's doing. And
I think he's got
16 points in 39 games
not
with the
bad.
Clado Knights.
it's insane.
He's still going. We did
He's
the
53.
we did. I put it together the other day. All of Jagr's points playing professionally, NHL, KHL, Czechia, anywhere else he's played, he's still short of Gretzky.
That is crazy.
He's still 500 short of Gretzky.
That is insane. Oh my god. That is crazy. Wow, that is unbelievable.
Nuts. And he's second to Gretzky in NHL scoring.
And I hope that this
by almost 1,000 points.
And I hope that this doesn't. I think this might diminish now that Ovechkin has passed Gretzky. But it's important to remember, Wayne Gretzky has the second most goals in NHL history. If you take them all away, he is still the all-time leading scorer in the NHL.
It's crazy.
He has more assists than anyone has points, and is second all-time in goals.
It's pretty wild.
It is a level of dominance that will never be met in any other sport ever again.
Yeah.
All right, we got some funny stuff we want to share too. Should we make
Sure.
fun of our buddy Pete
Let's
first?
let's do the athletic thing later.
All right.
Oh.
We'll do that next week. So it is summer
It is summer.
in hockey, which means it's wedding season in hockey.
1 sec.
Not only for the players, but also for hockey media.
Yes.
And our friend Pete Blackburn with the What Chaos podcast on the AllCITY Network, he got married this summer. That was a big deal.
Congrats to him and Ellen on their engagement. Got to
Yeah.
meet Ellen at the Winter Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely couple.
Yeah. So he got married, and as is sometimes customary at weddings, depending on the customs and the inebriation level, you will lift people up on a chair, the groom, and they tried to get Pete up there, and he took a tumble. But props to Pete, he's right back on the horse or the chair, so to say, and they got him up the second time. Yeah, good for Pete. That's you never let a chair bring you down. I guess only let your friends bring you down. I think Pete might have got spooked. He's never been up that high in his life.
Wow, this is what it's like to be 6 feet tall.
Yeah, but man, that was quite the tumble. But he got back on it and got back up there. I was at a wedding a couple weeks ago where I was not part of the chairlift, but I observed the chairlift, and you underestimate how much the lift, like the angle of the lift and how you distribute the weight that you're lifting, is important, more so than just, oh, we have like 8 dudes, we'll definitely get this chair up. Like you need to get the right angle, and you gotta like.
Yeah,
I think here they're holding the chair like up on the upper end of it, and it dumps him. You got to get the legs. It's very important to lift with the legs, not only physically but also with the chair.
Yeah, you need your front leg guys to be the stronger of the group because they can lean it back a little bit.
Yeah. You want a little backwards lean. You don't want to lean forward in a chair when you're 5 feet off the ground. But
well, see, this is why being a fat guy is a good thing because no one wants to put me on a chair and lift me above the wedding. That's for sure. Yeah, but congrats to Pete and Ellen. Make sure you check out the What Chaos podcast. It's always great stuff.
I think DJ and Johnny Lazarus was subbing in for Pete as he's out, obviously, after his wedding. Not because of the fall, but because he's taking off for his wedding. They had a good breakdown of the video and a great episode of the show talking about Pete's wedding. So go check that out. Yeah.
And then the other wedding footage, we have Leon Draisaitl.
Leon Draisaitl just ripping. We talk about ripping open packs here with Arena Club. Leon Draisaitl just ripping heaters at his wedding this summer.
Now, is this a staged photo?
No, I think this is just a candid of him, and he's at his wedding. I think he's probably taking his shoes off for comfort, and he's relaxed. He's having a smoke. Just got married. Like, it's a very natural looking photo to me.
I can't imagine a professional athlete in the year 2025 smoking.
See, this probably wasn't caught by the Amazon cameras when Connor McDavid was giving his speech to the Oilers when they were down 3-0 to the Panthers before they made their comeback. Draisaitl's off camera,
chain smoking,
just smoking,
doing shots,
drinking a Mr. What is it? The picture of is it Len Dawson where he's drinking like a Mr. Pibb and smoking during the Super Bowl? Yeah. Draisaitl's off camera just smoking and trying to calm down, Connor. Your voice is cracking.
That's funny. I mean, I remember like recently, like I know Alexei Zhamnov was a big smoker. I'm sure there's guys in the league that smoke. There have to be.
Especially Euros. I mean,
but
Euros smoke.
Sport,
yeah, European guys probably more likely.
Of any sport that you probably don't want to be a smoker in, I would think hockey would top that list.
I would say so. Yeah,
like,
but I mean, Leon might be one of those guys that's just like, I'm not a smoker, but sometimes when if I'm at my wedding with a drink in my hand, sometimes you get a smoke.
I had friends who said they only smoke when they drink.
Mm-hmm. I don't get it. I've never smoked. I never will. But
my parents smoked enough for all of us. Thanks.
Yeah. I had enough secondhand smoke as a child from my grandparents that I was just like, I don't like this smoke.
When we moved my parents out of their house, we took like pictures off the wall.
Oh God!
And it was like
two different shades,
2 different
of the
colors,
same
it's
color.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And both my parents have COPD now, so my dad passed from COPD. But yeah, stop! It's not good for you. This just in. Don't do that to yourself.
I was at a golf outing yesterday with my dad, and part of the outing they do like a raffle, silent auction, all that stuff. There was a picture of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus at the 1962 Masters. They're like on the tee box waiting to tee off. Both of them just smoking in the middle of the Masters tournament. Just a different era.
Yeah.
Different era.
No, yes. Social smokers are a thing. I have friends who only smoke when they drink.
Yeah.
And Jay Strausner says Larmer and Savard were smokers. Dennis Savard, on 3 separate, unrelated occasions, bummed a cigarette off my sister.
That's awesome. That's quite the story.
Like how does that happen? Maybe he just recognized her from the
previous moment. Yeah.
Right. 3 separate times.
It's burned in his
brain.
brain.
How does this keep happening to you? She's like, I don't know. Anytime I'm somewhere Dennis Savard is, he bums a cigarette.
Oh, that's funny. One thing I learned recently about cigarette smoke is that those old-timey sports photos from like the 50s and 60s and stuff, when you see that kind of like that blue glow, like if you look at old picture of like colorized picture of Bill Russell of the Celtics, or the Makita and Hall era, it's got that like blue glow over the rink. That's because of everybody that was smoking in the arena. That's the smoke haze having the flash effect on the camera, and that's why pictures don't look like that anymore, because you can't smoke indoors.
The pictures did look cool.
Thanks, Obama.
Can't argue with. Exactly. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for a great week. We'll be back Monday at 2 o'clock. You guessed it, Mailbag Monday. So make sure you are with us on Monday. Get those questions in on our Diehards Only Discord.
Have fun if you're going to the Patrick Kane event tonight.
Yes,
as well.
exactly. And get them on our show.
Sure.
That'd be fine. Just give them our number.
Tell them we sent you.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk to you Monday too. If you want to become a diehard, allchgo.com/join. That's the way to do it. Enjoy the Bears game on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Football's here.
The
CHGO Bears show can finally get an audience.
Yeah, now they can start doing their big shows.
All right, we'll talk to you Monday too, right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.